Okay, we'll open up Work Together 12-1. Okay, we're going to take a look at the time card. It says the October 15th time card for Alice R. Webster and the time card data for other employees are provided. Calculate the regular overtime and total hours worked by Ms. Webster. Any hours over 8 hours per day or 40 hours per week are considered overtime. Each work week begins Monday. Record the total hours on the time card and round hours to the nearest quarter of an hour. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the first one. Monday from 8 to 12, 1 to 5 would be 8 hours of work. The second one, 8 to 12, 1 to 5 is another 8. 8 to 12, 1 to 5, another 8 hours. Then we have 8 to 12, 1 to 5. So we have 8 hours of regular. And then you'll see from 6 to 9:30 would be 3.5 hours of overtime, 3.5. From 6 to 9:30. Okay. Then you'll see the next day came in late, went from 1 to 5, 6 to 10. So 1 to 5 would be 4 hours. Here's another 4 hours. So the total would be 8. Doesn't matter when they worked, it's just the total amount. Okay, we have 8 to 12, 1 to 5, another 8 hours. 8 to 12, 1 to 6. Okay, so if you look there, 8 to 12, 1 to 6. So that would be 9 hours. So they get paid 8 hours a day. And anytime they work over one more hour in a day, or over 8 hours in a day, they get paid for that in overtime. Then we have from 8 to 12, 1 to 5. We'd have 8 hours. 8 to 12, 1 to 5, another 8 hours. And then Friday, 8 to 1, 2 to 5. So 8 to 1 would be 5, 2 to 5 would be 3 for a total of 8 hours. Saturday is overtime for them. So from 10 to 1 would be 3 hours of overtime, because in the directions it says that. Okay, then on Monday from 8 to 12, 1 to 5 would be another 8 hours. Whoops. Okay, so then next we would add these all up. We would take all the regular time and we come up with 88 hours. Remember, they get paid twice a month, so it might be more than 2 weeks. And then you would add up your overtime. If you add those three numbers, it would be 7.5 hours. Okay, moving on to part 2 of Work Together 12-1. It says, the time card data for Alice Webster and other employees is provided. Enter the regular and overtime hours for Ms. Webster in the earnings schedule. For each employee, calculate the amount of regular, overtime, and total earnings. Overtime hours are paid 1.5 times the regular rate. Okay, so we've got the first employee, number 1. Okay, if you look at employee number 1, it's this one right here. We're going to go across. So the regular hours was 80 hours times the regular rate is $9 an hour. You should, if you take that, you should come up with $720. Okay, so for overtime rate then, it would be overtime hours of 5 hours times 9 times 1.5. Okay, so if you take 5 times 9 times 1.5, you will come up with $67.50. You add those two numbers together, $720 plus $67.50, and you will come up with $787.50. Okay, moving on to our next one, we have we have 80 hours times 12.5, and you'll come up with $1,000. Overtime again is $80 times and you should come up with $56.25, and you add those two together, 1,056.25. Okay, the third one, you're going to take 70 hours of regular times 9.75, and you come up with $682.50. There was no overtime, so it is $682.50. And that would just be a matter of adding up your columns. You add those three numbers together, or employee 4, sorry about that, is right up here. We're going to plug in the information right here. She had 88 hours. She had 7.5 hours of overtime. And again, I'm just using it from her time card up here. So if you take 88 hours times $11 an hour, she will get $968. Her overtime, 1.5, so 7.50 hours times 11 times 1.5, and you will come up with 123.75. You add those two together and you'll come up with 1091.75.